the Bible's about a person, and I want to tell you about him. You see, he's a racial king. That shocks him. Jesus was Jewish. He's king of the Jews. Let's not forget that. He is the king of Israel. He's a national king. He's not just some kind of religious figure. He is going to rule the world through Israel. So he's racial and national king. He is the king of all the ages, the king of heaven, the king of glory, and the king of kings and Lord of lords. The question is, do you know him? Do you really know him? That's the issue here, not quoting verses and all these other things. He was a prophet before Moses, a priest after Melchizedek, a champion like Joshua. He was an offering in the place of Isaac. He was a king from the line of David. He's a wise counselor, even above Solomon. He was beloved, then rejected, but then exalted son like Joseph. Yet, he's far more. The heavens declare his glory. The firmament shows his handiwork. He who is, who was, and always will be. He's the first and the last, the Alpha and the Omega, the Aleph and the Tau, the A and the Z. He's the first fruits of them that slept. He's the Ego I Me, the Ihyach Asher Ihyach, the I am that I am. Yes, he was the voice of the burning bush. He so claimed in John 8. He's the captain of the Lord's host. He was the conqueror of Jericho. He's enduringly strong, entirely sincere, eternally steadfast. He's immortally graceful, imperially powerful, impartially merciful. In him dwells the fullness of the Godhead bodily, the very God of very God. He is our kinsman redeemer indeed, as we learn in Ruth, but he's also our avenger of blood. He's our city of refuge. He's our performing high priest, our personal prophet, our reigning king. He's the loftiest idea in literature. He's the highest personality in philosophy. He's the fundamental doctrine of theology. He's the supreme problem of higher criticism. He's the miracle of all the ages, the superlative of everything good. You and I are beneficiaries of a love letter. That love letter was written in blood on a wooden cross that was erected in Judea some 2,000 years ago. They say he was crucified on a cross of wood, yet he made the hill on which it stood. By him were all things made that were made. Without him was not anything made that was made. And by him are all things held together, Paul tells us in Colossians. And a question. What held him to that cross? What held him to that cross? It wasn't the nails. At any time you could have said, enough already, I'm out of here. What held him to that cross? His love for you and me. That's what held him to the cross. He was born of a woman so that we could be born again, born of God. He humbled himself so that we could be lifted up. He became a servant so that we could be made joint heirs with him. We have no idea what that means. He suffered rejection so that we could become his friends. He denied himself so that we could freely receive all things. He gave himself so that he could bless us in every way. He's available to the tempted and tried. He blesses the young. He cleanses the lepers. He defends the feeble. He delivers the captives. He discharges the debtors. He forgives the sinners. He franchises the meek. He guards the besieged. He heals the sick. He provides strength to the weak. He regards the aged. He rewards the diligent. He sympathizes and he saves. He's incredible. His offices are manifold. His reign is righteous. His promises are sure. His goodness is limitless. His light is matchless. His grace is sufficient. His love never changes. His mercy is everlasting. His word is enough. His yoke is easy and his burden is light. I wish I could describe him to you. He's indescribable. He's incomprehensible. He's irresistible. And of course, he's invincible. The heaven of heavens cannot contain him. Man cannot explain him. The Pharisees couldn't stand him, but soon learned they couldn't stop him. The personal representative of the ruler of the world couldn't find any fault with him. The witnesses could not agree against him. Herod couldn't kill him. Death couldn't handle him. The grave couldn't hold him. He has always been and always will be. He had no predecessor. He'll have no successor. You can't impeach him, and he ain't going to resign. His name is above every name, that at the name of Yeshua, every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. His is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever and ever. Amen.